wanted to address this question. This question is very, very important. It's about fragmented souls. This individual is talking about doing the mantras and the womb chakra processes and saying the more I clear out my fields, the more fractured people start coming into my reality. So I have to giggle with this one. And this is 100% yes. What this is, so the more we do the womb chakra work, the more we activate our energies, the more, even if you want to look at it from a human design perspective, the more you follow the experiment and empty out all of your not self and get your butt out of the driver's seat and into the passenger seat and allow your higher self in communion with the core domain worlds to sit in that driver's seat, we actually start to recognize that what's happening is you're building your mana, your vital force energy, your chi energy. You're building your pillar of light. And as your pillar of light expands, let's bring this in to how this was stated. Maybe this was in some of the Sri Kalishwar's work. This definitely was a message I believe that came through when we were talking about the Saptarishis. This actually came through from the Anton Parks book of the book Zero of Naraya. The Dream of Eternal Time. I might have the title a little bit wrong on that, but it was talking about the Charistis, the Charisti birthers, those that have the ability, so the Christed beings, the Christar beings, those that have the ability to hold the shadow and the light. Well, they come in holding the Christ. So massive pillars of light. And where do they incarnate into? Wherever the shadow is, right? It's the Charistis, the Christars, us. Where do we incarnate? We incarnate where the light and shadow isn't balanced. So we go to where there's more shadow than light in order to bring that light. Well, within that statement, the Syrian being within there was saying that the shadow is always attracted to the light. So the more that the light emanates, the more shadow gets attracted to it, not to attack it, but because that's what it's seeking. It's seeking the light. And I think this is incredibly magical and beautiful, you guys, because I actually had the Guardians download a beautiful meditation and visual to me one time as I was working with this. And let me just share it this way, because this might be helpful for this. They were saying, again, we are the guardians of a temple, and our temple is our body. And within the temple, the sacred altar or the sacred flame, the sacred thing that the temple has built around is actually our heart portal, which is a doorway, like a chakra. It is our chakra, but it's more of like a flame and a portal. This would be the Amareya flame, the Azura flame. This is going to be this flame that activates, that holds crystal light within it. And so you think of, you are guarding this temple, and in as shadow integrates into our life. So as discarnate beings, soul fractured beings, fragmented souls, ghosts, spirits, entities, narcissistic people, imbalanced people, hurt, traumatized people, all coming from the same thing. As they attract to us in our life, one of the things the Guardian said is, the Guardian said, you've made it personal. You've made it about you. That they aren't coming to you because of you, but they come to the temple door, and many times it's like we start to make it about us. Well, why are they here? Why are they bothering us? Why are they at my temple door? And they say many times we've spent our life trying to block the temple door. And they said one of the greatest gifts is to recognize all shadow, all of these energies, anything that is entered within our field. Even if it's negative thoughts of, say, ancestors' attachments, shadows within our DNA and our ancestors' family tree and all these things, they said anything that has come to us is actually seeking the light. And our job with love is to actually get out of the way and let it pass right through. And when we do that, it's not like we're absorbing. They aren't coming into the temple, and the temple isn't getting jam-packed and crowded and busy, and all these beings that are sitting there crowding around this flame. They say, no, again, that's not us doing it right. That's still us making it personal and hanging on to this stuff. What they said is, again, we want to allow them to come to the flame and allow the flame to welcome them, open it up. And it's literally like a portal doorway where they pass through and they literally disappear from the temple completely. They're not even in the temple anymore. So they pass through. So within this, as we start to recognize this energy, 100%. Yes, the more we activate our energy, the more we actually become sensitive to all the energies around us that are seeking the light. And we get to recognize that we don't need them to enter into us in our physicality all the way. Remember, you got 12 layers to your body in this 15-dimensional time matrix. So you don't need to let them all the way down into layer 1. We do that a lot of times. And what we're doing is many times, especially in these flame body techniques, we're activating the akasha around us. So this God seed code is all the way around us. And so as they enter in, they can actually begin to connect to our heart, that flame from outer layers. And then through that awareness of our consciousness, we are creating these doorways for them to pass through, for them to leave, for them to move through that portal so that they can basically be reunited with their universal family trees, with their guardian councils, with their higher selves. And therefore, they can pass on through. Part of our gift on this Christos mission is that is exactly what we are. And some of us, more than others, are these gatekeepers for lost and fragmented souls, which means that our entire life we're going to be aware of them. I know that for myself. You guys hear me joke about that quite a bit, and I try to be very transparent with you guys about it so that you can recognize that it's just part of it. It's like they've been attracted to me since I was little. And sure, when I was little, it scared the crap out of me. As for many of you, it's like, I don't want to see, I don't want to know. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that are like, oh, yes, I had all of these things I saw and knew when I was a child and it scared me. So I literally cried out and said, I don't want to see, I don't want that ability, turn it off. There are so many of you that I have talked to that is exactly what you said as a child. And then here you are now going like, I want to turn it back on. How do I turn it back on? And within that, just to recognize as it activates and comes back on, it's a going like, oh gosh, yeah, it is a little bit intense, but we get to move it. So the womb chakra is the first stage, and there are other stages. There are other mantras that actually activate it even more, where it's like you hear them, you sense them, you know them, you see them. And as it happens, you get the opportunity to actually just constantly what we're doing. Here's how I look at it, and I'm going to summarize it as this. I see myself as a case worker, and that they're all like orphaned children, orphaned beings. And in this, we get to reunite them with their original family, not a foster family, not anything like that, but it's like literally we're finding their families and helping them return back home. And that to me brings a lot of emotion, a lot of joy and gratitude in my life. And even if they are a little bit cantankerous sometimes, I just realize they've gone through trauma as spirits. Not all spirits are happy. So, with love, I recognize that and we can send them home. So I hope that helps a little bit. And then, yes, of course, anchoring the property in the place is also very helpful to amplify that energy.